So filters, I talk about them a lot on this channel. On other photography channels, you'll probably hear about the yellow, orange, and red filters. Fortunately for them, they live closer to the equator where it's drier and sunnier. Here in the Pacific Northwest though, it's green. Very green. Hell, I live in the evergreen state after all. It's perpetually lush. At least on the west side of the Cascades. So when shooting black and white film, I've been looking for a lens filter that can complement the surroundings that I'm lucky enough to call home. And that's when this filter comes into play. The yellow-green filter. Yellow filters are known for absorbing blues and adding contrast. Take these photos for example, all shot with a yellow filter. See how the skies darken, but the clouds stay bright and punchy. Green filters are great for vegetation. They brighten up plant life while adding contrast to everything else around. That being said, the green filters don't always work the way you expect, at least in my experience. So, what about yellow-green filters? In theory, they should darken up skies and brighten up foliage, basically making two filters in one, the best of both worlds. I've been shooting with the yellow-green filter for over a year, but only in my infrared trichrome setup. It's definitely changed the way I view color theory and false color photography, but I've absolutely loved the results. Today though, it wouldn't be about infrared trichromes, it'd be about some good old-fashioned black and white film photography. So I grabbed my yellow-green filter, my Nikon F2, and 2 rolls of Ilford HP5. And to push this filter to its limits, I took it to one of the most lush places in all of Tacoma, Point Defiance Park. As well, I would start off shooting with my Nikon 35mm f2.8 lens. The funny thing about Point Defiance Park is I never really feel like I make my best work here. I always leave feeling a little bit disappointed. Unless I'm taking photos of raccoons, that is.
I hate it when you keep it on me so long and then they see my pores.
So for most of you, you already know what I'm gonna say. But for the 20 of you watching this video from outside the Pacific Northwest, Point Defiance was known for its scenic 5-mile drive. But a couple years ago, it had to be shut down due to erosion. So they shut it down to vehicle traffic, but they still allow you to walk or cycle around the scenic loop. Which honestly, I love. Too many times in the past would I be in the park trying to enjoy nature, and some kid with a clapped out Camry would come flying around the corner with his mufflers chopped off, if not his catalytic converter. Don't get me wrong, I like cars, but I like the peace and quiet of nature more. Anyways, let's get back to the photos. I love this photo. The backlighting on this mossy tree gives it an ethereal glow. I think the filter helped maintain some of the details in the midtones and the highlights. Without the filter, I feel like they would just fall into shadows. At this point, I would switch out my 35mm f2.8 for my 28mm f2.8. Once getting towards the bluffs and getting out from underneath that tree cover, I switched out the 28mm f2.8 for my 105mm f2.5 lens. And wow, this lens really doesn't get enough love from me. It's fantastic. I don't know why I don't pick it up more. It's probably one of the best lenses in the F-mount lineup. I really like these shots. They almost look like portraits of trees. Does that make sense? As we moved back into the woods, the light began to fade, so I had to reduce my shutter speeds, which meant I had to switch back to the 28mm. I can handhold that at 1/30th of a second, but the 105mm lens, I can barely handhold that at 1/25th. This photo of Claire is fun and moody. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I really like the texture in the clouds, as well as the subtle tonal shifts within the photo. Speaking of portraits, I've heard the yellow-green filter is pretty good for portraits. They brighten up skin tones, and as well, they reduce red blemishes. It's not bad. I don't hate the look. Between the two photos though, I prefer the close-up. The bokeh is less distracting. By the way, these were both shot with a 105mm. What are you doing?
This is the B-roll to the B-roll.
At this point, I'd finished up the first roll of HP5 and I loaded up the second. As well, I would kind of jump between the 105, the 35, and 28mm lenses, just kind of shooting whatever felt right for each scene. This next photo of this fence and the no parking sign, faded from years of weather and wear, with the glowing vegetation in the background, really stood out to me. I really like this one. I have to say, I think it might be my favorite from this day. You may have noticed I've been trying to shoot more details in my photography. I usually tend to stand back and shoot wide, but I've been trying to focus on getting a little more intimate with my subjects. And these black and white shots are telling me I need to do this more often. So that was 2 rolls of HP5, all shot with the yellow-green filter. So how'd this filter work for portraits? I think it's a solid contender, but I'm not a portrait photographer, so I would take what I say with a grain of salt. For landscapes though, something I think I know a lot about, I think it works beautifully. It adds subtle nuances within the photograph, as well really brightens up all that foliage. It really pairs well up here in the Pacific Northwest with all this green plant life that's just constantly around. Red and orange filters can be dramatic, but in dense forests, you'll end up losing detail in the bark and the leaves. The yellow-green filter just works for these environments. It adds to the scene without overpowering it. Well, I hope this conversation on film photography and filters continues in the comments, but if not, I'll see you in the next one.